Welcome back. This will be another opening week trade here for Apple. Tuesday is earnings, August 1st. I'm going to be looking for a quick move on Monday, the 31st. May not do anything, so my plan may not actually work. If it doesn't, no big deal. I'll wait until what happens on Tuesday's open to see what happens and into Wednesday before I take any substantial trades. Now, first of all, what happened on Monday morning was an excellent opportunity. Break above my range of 150.40, got me in some 150 calls. Very nice move up, ran all the way up to my target within, call it 36 hours. Excellent opportunity there, locked in a good amount of profit there for a 1.5 day trade, and just kind of didn't do anything else for the rest of the week. Came up to 154, which was ultimately the target that I was looking at here. If you review any of my past videos for this week, 154 was the level to watch because of the substantial selling that took place on June 12th. 154 was the level that broke down, and ultimately when that kind of move does happen, you will have secondary participants looking to capture that exact same kind of move because it gives a nice risk reward area for potential follow through back that same direction. Now if this had broken to the upside, it would have been the exact same thing on a pullback, but in this case it was actually a breakdown. Bears were simply waiting here at 154, in addition to swing traders having their stops just below this narrow range doji on a daily basis. So once it broke 153, from that point on, it was just game over. You had stops being triggered and bears shorting the price. So when you have participants on the same side of the trade, that's what happens. Now going forward here, do want to point out that there were probably a couple of opportunities to capture 10, 15% gains, 20% gains on the way up here. But just imagine if you had proper trade management, proper risk controls, and knew how to read price, you could have probably captured this complete move all the way up. Now, admittedly, I was bearish until it broke back above 145.60, or excuse me, 145.90. From that point on, all bets were off for the Bears, and it just simply ran up. That was a very, very nice trend all the way up and led to a very significant amount of gains. Now, taking 10% here and there is great, but you could have ultimately made who knows how many hundreds of percent on that whole move there. So just food for thought. If you're following someone who wants to just simply lock in minor little gains, it can work, but you have to be right at least 90% of the time. And we all know that's not true. So going forward here, my plan is going to be a long entry above 150.20 on any kind of move on an opening drive above there. Stop loss will be just below 150, right around where the VWAP and my 8-period exponential moving average are. They're actually at 149.75. However, if price does open up higher, those will pull up probably just below 150. If that fails to materialize into a trade, I have no problem sitting on my hands and waiting for a better opportunity to enter. Ideally, be down here around 147.5. 147.5 because that is the higher end of this range where it was bouncing off the lows. 147.5 here to 142.5. Anything below 147.5 will likely come back into this range and could potentially even break back down below 142. Now, with earnings coming up, any way that it does break is really just a guess at this point. So I'm not going to hold anything overnight into earnings unless it is some sort of a lotto. And a lotto as such is simply putting money into something that could potentially expire at zero. So keep that in mind if you are playing one way or the other with some lottos, as it could just be worth zero when it's all said and done. Target that I will be looking for on Monday above this 150.20. It may not get all the way up there in one day, but I am going to go look for a target of about 153. Might just make it up here to 152.70ish, 152.80, where it ultimately was the breakdown level. So we'll see what happens there. This will be my plan for Monday. We'll see what happens, and good luck.